Hey, 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 what is up? What's happening? Welcome to Free Coaching Friday. Super excited for this. We're going to have some fun. And today I have two victims, special guests lined up. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do some laser coaching. I've just kind of found that when you see me, go deep with somebody, that it just creates more breakthroughs than just answering, than going for quantity of answering a whole bunch of questions. But what I'm going to do is I should be able, after my two laser coaching sessions, I should be able to answer some questions after that. So I'm super excited. And so first of all, welcome. And today I'm in my new office. Yay! So I'm finally out of Jessica's hair. She has her office, and so now she can't yell at me if I leave a mess. It's fantastic. It's my stress has plummeted, and so welcome. So let's give away some Time Money Freedom books. And so if you would like to possibly win a Time Money Freedom book, feel free to share and then drop me a comment that you shared, and I will pick a few people to win a Time Money Freedom book, and we'll ship it out to you. There you go. And this is, in case you have not seen it, it is Time Money Freedom is our latest book with Hay House, and it's the 10 simple rules to redefine what's possible and radically reshape your life. Jess and I just took the time to write down what were the key things that we did to change our life, to get out of the corporate world, to get build a business from home. And so that's our Time Money Freedom book. All right. So let's pick some winners. Here we go. Appreciate it, Tara. Okay, Amber Lancaster Cook, Kristen D. Gennaro, not sure if I'm saying that right, and Melanie Becknell Boudreau gets a Time Money Freedom book. So if I said your name, just shoot an email to support@higdongroup.com, and then I will give away some more here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get the party started. And oh, by the way, if you're on here and you like this kind of coaching and the kind of coaching that I've been doing almost every day here on Facebook, I'm starting our 4 weeks of group coaching next week. And if you want to participate in that, it is higdongroup.com/lifer, higdongroup.com/lifer. That offer is going away. And if you're already a Rank Maker lifer, just email support and they'll get you in there. All right. So here we go. So first up, we have Jessica. Jessica, what's going on? How are you?
I'm excellent, Ray. How are you doing today?
Awesome. I see you. I see you in the group all the time. So I'm excited to be on here with you. And so just let me know where are you at? Where are we in your journey?
Well, I've been following you for quite some time, and I really appreciated a lot of your journey, and especially a lot of the breakthroughs that you've been having. I've also been on that journey as well to try to identify some of my blocks and kind of eliminate them, but I'm stuck with the eliminating part. Like just for an example, like I know that I'm overcoming, but scarcity mindset is something that I've struggled with in the past, and still it rears its ugly head every now and again. And I've had money mindset issues as well. So, but I'm identifying some of those blocks, but I'm just curious as to maybe what the next steps are that I should look to take to not just eliminate them from my life, but then that'll help me move forward in my business and be able to help other people.
Yeah, for sure. Have you identified the causes of them?
I think I have identified, well, for my scarcity mindset, I think some of that, well, I think a lot of it has to do with my childhood. My memory of my childhood with my parents, where my mom didn't work. My dad was the only income earner. And this might be inaccurate. I don't remember, but I recall one time him doing his checkbook in a red pen and a black pen, because he wrote out our bills against the red pen, and there was more red than there was black. So I think that's where it started. My grandmother, she held on to everything. My parents held on to everything. That kind of followed me. Like we always hold on to stuff because we're afraid of losing it. I've done a tremendous job, and I think my husband would back me up on this, of getting rid of a lot more.
When did that start? When did you start doing that?
Probably about, honestly, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Really started diving into it. About a year after I found you.
Nice. So yeah, it's interesting. One of my coaches, he has billionaire clients, and he he was telling me, he goes, when people have scarcity mindset, more money doesn't solve it.
Right.
And I'm not saying you can't solve it, right? You can, but it's interesting because you think the cure to scarcity is to get more, but the scarcity remains the same. And so, this is, we talk about this in Time, Money, Freedom of, Jess, when we first met, I'm dead broke, personal foreclosure. She's working at the makeup counter, and we never, although it wasn't great, we never really stressed about money. We actually started, she started stressing about money when we started making a lot of it. And it's because she had seen a close family member make a lot of money and lose it, and that was her like biggest scare. And so that's something she's definitely improved, but still struggles with that. And so what one of my coaches was telling me is, like, he goes, yeah, if it's unaddressed, it just doesn't matter. You can be a billion-dollar company and still think it could go away tomorrow. And so it is something that is a big deal, right? And if you're always operating from fear, then that's gonna come with you. As you may have heard me talk about, our memories, they try to protect us, right?
Right.
Protect us from harm. And so when we can't remember something, it's because the subconscious is actually suppressing that, so we don't remember it, so we stay nice and safe. Now, being happy isn't part of the routine, but being safe and not embracing the things that hurt us is very important. So I'm curious, I mean, do you remember ever wanting to do something and they just said, no, we just can't afford it, as a kid? Do you remember any of that kind of stuff?
I don't remember my parents ever saying that they couldn't afford things necessarily, but I do know that I wanted to do dance, and that wasn't an option. We had to stop doing that. I got to play soccer. I was able to do some of the smaller things that were, looking back, were affordable. But no, when it came to some of the bigger things, my parents, whether it was because of finances or whatever their reasons were, they shut it down. And I've never had that conversation with them to ask them. They're both still alive, and maybe I should. But I don't know that having that conversation would solve anything either moving forward, but maybe it would. I'm not sure.
So what is it that you want? So you feel like, before we go there, how does this show up? How does scarcity show up for you? How does you thinking that, because you said scarcity and you said one other thing. What was the other thing you said?
Well, money mindset.
Money mindset. So money mindset and scarcity, how does that show up for you? Like, how do you feel it? How do you experience it?
Well, okay. So, kind of very similar to Jess in a way, except for knowing somebody personally. We personally lost things. We went through foreclosure. We had some pretty hard times. We have a son who has special needs, and that we didn't go bankrupt, but it basically bankrupted us. And, we've rebuilt from there. And maybe that's part of it too. Just identifying that, but it shows up where, like, in my business, I'll buy samples and I want to give them out, and I'll make contacts with people, but then I'm very stingy with giving them out. I've gotten way better at it, but that's a way that it has shown up. I'm overly generous. Wealth Wednesday every single week, at least in my opinion, with what we can afford. Overly generous. Every single Wednesday, I'm out there. I'm always doing a Wealth Wednesday activity during the week. If I go anywhere, sometimes I'll pop $1 or $2 in an egg. I do it in abundance. I think in a way, just because I'm trying to make up for time. The more I put out in the universe, maybe the more I'll get back. But the biggest way that it's shown up recently is I actually was able to leave my job back in September because my husband's got a job that affords us the opportunity to allow me to be a stay-at-home mom now. But he's commission based, and even though he's a rock star and just he's amazing at what he's doing, and he's just been consistent with bringing in income, I still have, I think I still have that fear of the potential of losing it again in the back of my mind, and I didn't think about that.
Sure. Yeah. Who manages the finances?
I do most of them, but we kind of split things equally.
Okay.
For the most part, I make sure almost all the bills are paid.
Yeah. That's one change that, Jess and I have made is, my whole life, I've not managed the finances. So even, before Jess,
Mhm.
in my first marriage, she managed the bills, I went and made the money, she managed the bills. And Jess specifically, there's really two things. And it's a little controversial for me to say this, but
We can take it offline. Just kidding.
the management of money is more of, and this is, I learned this from a guy named David Dida, who wrote, he's written, several books, but the management of money is more of a masculine trait.
Hmm.
And so, Jess, because of, her energy and, what she's had, and what she witnessed and observed in the past, I mean, when she logs in and she sees high bills, I mean, she'll just break down. I mean, there's been times she's cried. There's been times she's, just like when now that I'm taken over that, and that's transitioning, which is a great learning thing for me,
Hmm.
which I was nervous about, but I don't have any emotions around it, like I just log in, I'm like, all right, what's that expense? Let's figure this out, like move this here, like
Hmm.
it's just not it's not that big of a deal, even though I haven't done it my whole life. My whole life I haven't done it.
Right.
It's just I don't have an emotional thing about it. And so it's just a lot easier, for me to do that. And I just share that because maybe there's something there. I don't
No,
know.
there's definitely an emotion attached to it for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, my temperature rising or things changing in my body when I will look at certain bills that are coming out or different things that are happening. And I'm like, I don't know what that expense is. What is that expense?
Yeah. And I'm just like, we'll find out this expense. There's zero emotion. It's just,
Right.
just is what it is. And so, and that is, and I had never heard this before, but after studying some of David's, stuff, it made sense to me. He
Okay.
talks about how the female is like the river, and the masculine energy, or I should say feminine energy, right?
Hmm.
Feminine energy is like the river, free flowing, does what it would like to do, splashes on the banks every once in a while, and the masculine energy is more of the banks along the river,
Okay.
right? And
Hmm.
literally banks, like literally, like helping, not so free flowing, more, like more structured maybe.
Right.
And we've noticed a big difference. I mean, like her happiness has increased greatly since we've been making this transition. And so I'm just throwing that out there. Um, it's you know it's something that what might be helpful. So I'll give you two suggestions here. One, and something that I've done, is my whole life I've been like a hoarder, borderline, right? Just borderline hoarder. Like I don't save like, cereal boxes or something crazy, but like collecting things and and one thing I kind of translated from Joe Dispenza is not that he says this directly, but he talks about all the things in your life you have an energy attachment to,
Hmm.
right? And so I started really looking at and identifying my energy. Where is my energy being spent? And so my energy, I was thinking about things in the storage unit just
Mhm.
every once in a while, not every day, not every minute, like a lunatic, but like, I wonder what else in there. I don't remember what's in there. And so I went there and I wiped the whole effing thing out. Right. I mean, I sold some stuff. I
Mhm.
donated a ton of stuff, like an entire trailer of stuff I donated. And now I don't think about it. Right. So I've actually regained energy in the last, I don't know exactly 6 months. Let's say I've sold over $50,000 in stuff on eBay.
Mhm.
Just I'm not like buying and flipping. I'm just getting rid of stuff.
Right.
I over the years I've collected watches and things like that that just to me just don't have any meaning anymore. I just don't care. And so
Mhm.
today I listed all my watches. Like I'm just getting rid of anything that is something going toward my purpose, then that deserves energy. Is something not going toward my purpose, I don't want to give it any energy. I
I
just
love
don't.
that.
And so I mean I can't tell you boxes of books. I mean, probably 5 of the big moving boxes of books I've gotten rid of, and I've donated them.
Mhm.
They're still good books, but I'm not going to go through them. Right. I mean, there's a very small list of books that I kept that I actually will go back through every once in a while because
Mhm.
they're there and they will help me toward my purpose. But all the rest, they're great books, but I'm not going to open them again. Why am I keeping these things? And some of these things I've had for 20 years, 30 years. It's crazy. And so just getting rid of as much stuff as possible so you can regain energy actually, right?
Right.
And you could generate, some money.
Right.
My 1-2 punch is because someone said, "Hey, where do you list stuff?" I'm really just doing two things. I'm doing Facebook Marketplace, especially if it's something heavier and bulkier, and then the rest I'm doing on eBay. So I'm doing those two things. But I'm looking at like I'm observing my thoughts of if I think about a thing and like let me give an example. I mean, the storage unit was one. But just like, if I walk in the garage and I, notice dumbbells that I've had forever, I never use them. I'm like, I'm selling those things. I'm getting them out of
Mhm.
here. I'm just clearing them out of my space. And so that is a really powerful thing. Now, the next is for you to learn to observe your emotions
Mhm.
versus let them run you, right?
Right.
And so we are, unless you have trained yourself to be an observer, you're addicted to your emotions, and that's not a
Right.
personal attack. That's
No,
everyone.
it's spot
And
on.
and so like, you know, my my wife, she doesn't have levels of um, financial scarcity. It's the sky is falling, and it's like you realize we have like a lot in investments and stuff, right? If push come to shove, and all of a sudden we could cash things in and stay and keep going for years and figure things out, right? But that doesn't register. It's the sky
Right.
is falling, sadness, emotional breakdown, bad times.
Let's see, and I
And
internalize and then explode.
yes.
Mhm.
And so when you learn to observe that, so observe it and say, okay, does this make logical sense? Is it really, is this really as bad as I think it is? Right. And because what I've learned is those with money mindset scarcity, they seek an example, and then they project it out a million years, and then they feel the end result. So
Mhm.
his commissions are down. We're going to be on the streets, and it's like, how do we get here so fast? Like, what happened here? My God.
Right.
And so understand that, okay, what if? Well, he could get another job. I could go get a job. We could, sell some things, and so just learn to not succumb to the sky is falling
Mhm.
deal. right? And just
Right.
say, okay, it's not, maybe it's here, right? But it's definitely not here. It's
Right.
definitely
Right.
not here. And so, learn to observe that. And I remember when, and it is key for, you and your husband to communicate, because I mean, she was driving me nuts, man. Before I understood this stuff. So, we would be, in my opinion, we're doing okay. And then, she would like poke her head in and say, hey, bank account's down. And I'm like, okay. And the way I translated that was, I'm not doing my job. I'm
Right.
not a man. I'm not a good husband. And I have my wife stressed out. And so I would work like a maniac, and I'd do 10 webinars that week, and then she'd be like, why are you working so hard? What's going on over there? Why are you seem stressed? I'm like, yeah, I'm stressed. Yeah, thanks for this. Right. And you freaking caused it. But we weren't communicating. She wasn't telling me, how she was feeling. I was just translating. And then I wasn't telling her how she was making me feel and how I was allowed to be made felt. And
Yeah.
and so, that's also on me, because for me to just accept that feminine energy of the sky is falling, and me say, oh no, and me get all worried, and me react, that's not my job. And
Right.
so now when I encounter the sky is falling phenomenon, it's like, hey, no, it's not. All right, let's shape it up here. Like she needs that, right?
Mhm.
Needs that counterbalance. Needs that different energy, not the agreement energy. It needs polarization energy, and so just learning to observe that. And you might, although I haven't read all of his books, but if your husband is interested, the book that I read that was very, very helpful for me and helpful for our marriage is called it's an interesting title, The Way of the Superior Man.
Okay.
And it's not anti-female or anything weird, but it's an interesting title, but it is very, very good. Very good.
And that's by David.
And David Dida. Yeah. I'm
Dida.
real excited. I'm doing a 3-day like virtual workshop. We are doing a 3-day workshop with him and one of my coaches. I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
And so how does this feel so far?
This feels really awesome. I think that I knew a lot of these things, but having confirmation and hearing somebody else saying it instead of it being my own thought or from my own reading is definitely incredibly helpful. So yeah, it's feeling good. I think I'm going to go get rid of a lot of things today. Books are my nemesis. I shouldn't say nemesis. I love books. I collect them and I've got a ton, but you're right. They're taking up space. They're taking up energy. I have a clutter issue that's definitely taking up energy, and like, I kind of just want to shove it all off and let's go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like I'm really hardcore. Like I'm setting up my office and like, there's nothing hanging. And I'm just like, do I want to hang this thing? Like I have all these awards and,
Here,
all
I'll
these
send you
different
this, Ray.
things.
I'll send this to you.
Let me overthink this. And so like, I'm just like, is something adding to my purpose and joy, or is it not? Because if it's not, it's taking energy. And that's what people don't understand. They don't understand that the stuff that they have is taking a little bit of their energy. And the more of those things you have, the less energy to create. And so it's like, how do I just minimalize? How do I get rid of anything that's not participating in my purpose or my joy? Let's get rid of all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
I think that'll be a powerful exercise for you.
It will be.
And
here I thought it was my kids all this time. I've got 5, so I'm like, Nicole.
So what do you mean by that? You thought it was your kids this whole time?
My kids are taking my energy all the time, is what I was saying.
Oh yeah, they definitely will do that. Yeah.
Monday through Friday, my husband's gone. He travels. He's a door-to-door salesman, and so like I am the show. I run them. We've got a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 17-year-old, and 3 of them are in hockey. One's in basketball, one's special needs, and one's just starting life. So
yeah,
it's busy.
And
But
And, you know, I mean, these are good practices to teach your kids too. Two
yes.
things, you know, one, how do we, you know, like, hey, okay, let's go through our toys, right? Is this a toy that that you don't play with anymore, but might bring joy to another kid?
Yeah,
You see what I
absolutely.
mean? Like that's
Mhm.
teaching them. You can teach them commerce. Like, you know, with my my two older boys, I always bought them the nice toys because I knew I could resell them,
Mhm.
and I taught them that. Like I would buy, you know, after Halloween, we would go to Target and load up and get
Mhm.
90% off all these costumes. They'd play in them all year round, and then I'd sell them in September for full
Yeah,
price. And so like I'm buying these things for $2 or $3 and I'm selling them for $30 each.
right.
And they learned that. They got to see that, you know. And so you can teach them that of not having to have so much crap. It'll save you a lot of time in moving too whenever they
Yeah,
move out.
you're not wrong.
Yeah. So is this helpful?
It's incredibly helpful,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, the biggest piece is just everything has energy, and
Yeah.
definitely something I'm going to implement immediately. So thank you for this.
And next time you feel it flare, next time you feel that, you know, sky is falling, so just become the observer. Say, okay, I'm feeling this way. Is this reality? Is there something I can do here? Is this really as bad as I think it is? And when you start observing, you should be able to improve. Without observation, you can't improve. You're on
Right.
autopilot, which
You're
is most
absolutely
people.
right.
Most people are reacting, "Ah," right? And they have no awareness of that is an addiction, that they're just repeating this record, this loop over and over and over. And
Right.
so, all right, Jessica, we'll keep it.
Awesome.
You're in, I assume you're in the 4 weeks of group coaching we're
I'm a
doing?
lifer. Yep.
Okay. All right. I thought so. So we'll see you in there and appreciate you. Great job.
Thank you. I really
Awesome.
appreciate you
Jessica,
monitoring.
everyone, give her some love, give her some high
Thank you.
fives. You've gotten some great comments, so make sure you know check
I'm going to
those
go
out.
back and go through those all. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. 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 Cool. All right. Helpful so far. We got one more guest. If you would like to win one of our Time Money Freedom books, just share and drop me a comment that you shared. I'll pick a couple more people before we have our next guest up. And give me 1 second. All right. So very good. I think a lot of people need to hear what Jessica was sharing. All right. Here we go. Here's my shearers. All right. Stacy Harris. Uh, ah, Trish Baxter and Charlene Workmeister get a Time Money Freedom book. All right, so if I said your name, just shoot an email to support@higgingroup.com and we'll ship you out one of those, the Time Money Freedom books. All right, so first, before I bring my next guest up, I just have to check something real quick. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Next guest is Michelle. If I can get her up here. Michelle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
All right. So, did you catch Jessica's? Was that helpful?
It was. It was quite helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. And where are you calling in from?
Texas.
Yeah, I had a guess. I had a guess.
The accent?
Yep, yep. And so, share with us where are you at? I believe you've been in your network marketing business, or you've been in network marketing at least for several years. So, kind of catch us up. Where are you at in your business, and how can we help?
Okay. I've only with one company, 5 years. I feel very successful. Um, but I've been stuck for the last 3 years. And with me being successful, I'm comfortable. And I'm like, I ended up coming from a time in my life. I had money issues. My husband and I struggled. So before network marketing, I was working a lot, 4 jobs. And so I utilized this as a vehicle to pay off debt. And just earlier this year, I brought my husband home. I was able to leave my job 2 years ago. And I know that there's more out there, but before network marketing, I had lost the hope to dream. I did.
Mhm.
I was financially broken, mentally, physically, all of it. And so I just don't know if I'm at a, I just don't know where my where to go from here, because I've already reached everything. I did the napkin dreaming where I wrote things down on a napkin, and I've hit everything on my napkin. And I know it's time to probably reassess, write a new napkin, but I'm scared. And I'm scared of failure. Um, and I think I'm scared of success in a sense that is bigger than what I know it to be.
So before you lost it all, had you made good money or like what? Tell me about that situation.
Well, I'm not ever really, we just got ourselves in a really bad financial situation. We never lost anything, never. But that's why I started working all these jobs just to kind of tread water. Kenneth was
To
working.
prevent losing
Yeah,
everything.
yes, yes. And I wanted my kids to be able to still have things. But I was one that would put it on the credit card. So I had massive credit card debt. And so before, I just knew that I needed to pay that stuff off, and so I just went to work. And that's one thing is I'm a hard worker. If you want something, you dig in and you go for it. And it's always been up to me. Even as I was a younger child, I if I you know I was the girl that wanted the Jordache jeans. I mean, that's aging me. But I worked for it, and my parents were very, very, very poor. They built two successful businesses, trash businesses, from the start of their own business, from hauling trash in the back of a pickup truck to built it up to multi-million-dollar businesses and sold it and then lost it all, not once, but twice. And I do think that that plays a very big part um, with how I do see success. And I'm from a very small town. Everybody knows everybody. I was born here. And, you know, I know I have a lot to give to other people. Um, and I want people to experience where I was at and to know that they can break free from all of that. Um, and I offer it. I offer it to a lot of different people, but, I think I'm reserved a little bit. And I also feel like my team members have, some of them have had great success, but a lot of them haven't. And at the point of where I'm at now, I had to build up teams to be able to be more successful.
So I think that you're you're at a point where if you grow much bigger, then the downfall would be a lot more hurtful.
Oh yeah.
And with all the things that you said, with the parents, with the it's a small town, so your worry of falling is taking up more of a priority than your desire to impact.
Mm.
And that's tough to confront, but that is, that's reality. Know that you being bigger doesn't have to equate to falling down. Not every story ends that way. Not every story has to end that way. And you may have seen that. And this is a classic example that I've seen so many times of if we see especially a parent that goes and makes it and then loses it. And then the local yokels, I'm sure, were talking about it. Yeah, all that stuff, all the other family members, which brought disgrace, right? Which brought shame. And the worry of your kids feeling that what you felt is what you're guarding against. But unfortunately, when you guard against that, we also guard against our life. because you're either growing or dying, right? You either are moving toward the things that you want, or you're moving away, at least energetically. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so know that you succeeding more can mean good, not the impending doom, not the and especially in network marketing, right? Your chances, um, it's just a different animal. You've been with the same company for 5 years, and um, your overhead is not, I mean, unless you're doing something really strange, your overhead is not very much, right? Your expenses and overhead, it's unlike a bunch of trucks or a bunch of trailers or a bunch of real estate or
No.
bunch of whatever, right? And so you're in the, lowest risk, lowest overhead career that has unlimited potential. So you got that going for you. But even, with or without that, if you were in any career, growing more does not mean you're going to have to lose it or you're going to have to fall down.
So what do I do to turn this around, to turn this up here, this stinking thinking? I mean, it's an issue.
Couple things. A couple things. One, just being aware, right? See, most people are in your situation, but they're just not aware. They don't. Why do I keep hitting the ceiling? How come I have no drive? How come I'm not motivated? And they're comfy, but what they're really saying is, I'm underneath the upper limit belief that I'm scared of. That's what it means, right? Whether it's paying the bills or just getting by, or have money on the side. It's an upper limit that we create that is just totally made up. It's not reality. But it's comfortable means I'm underneath the ceiling that above here makes me nervous because bad things can happen up here. And so most people aren't aware of that. So they just go through life, hitting that upper ceiling. Um, they lose interest in growth. They start to wonder, like, does my life have purpose? Because it's either going this way or it's going that way. We're either growing or we're dying. We're either excited about life or we're questioning it. Like, damn it, like, how come, whatever. And so awareness is the first step, which I feel like you're now aware from
I
this coaching, right? You're aware that, okay, this happened in the past, this makes sense. And just know that there's a lot of people out there that could really use your wisdom. And you have a story that could impact people that I couldn't, right? I didn't deal with a parent that made a bunch of money, lost it. I dealt with other issues, right? I had other, I had my own punches, but I didn't have that punch, right? And a lot of people have experienced that, and there's a lot of people stuck because they're playing so small so that people don't talk about them if they go big and fail. And that's a miserable life. That is not a good life. And people talk about, oh, well, I wish I was up here. No, you don't, because misery can be at different income levels, right? You can have the person that's dead broke and just doesn't really care. They're actually happier than the six-figure earner. Because the six-figure earner or the seven-figure earner or eight-figure or 10-figure, whatever, that doesn't feel like they're continuously contributing to life and contributing to impact, is miserable. They're not happy. And you have so much, power within you and so much energy within you, and the world is at such a time of need. We're at this is a very interesting time, and I'm not going to be super philosopher here, but we're at a time where people are really questioning the powers that be, at a time of such confusion, of such conflict. I was on with I know I shouldn't talk about this, but I was on with a client last night in Australia where, they're just grabbing kids and giving them the vaccine without parent consent. Like, it's just, there's crazy stuff, right? I believe in freedom of choice. I believe that our children are not owned by the government. That's just, I'm just crazy. Um, and so we're at a time where there's so much confusion and so much like, who the hell do I trust? And so, but you bring wisdom, and wisdom specifically is learned lessons and memories that aren't associated with an emotion. That's wisdom. So wisdom is, I'm able to look back on my parents and not be sucked into that emotion of feeling bad and worried that I too could have that happen to me. But you learning from that and observing that, and that becomes lessons that you can help other people with. And believe me, I mean, this has to be, I mean, my estimate would be this is 30% of all human beings' problems when it comes to money, is that they saw someone lose it, and so they embedded that into themselves, and that's why they're walking around on eggshells. That's why they're they even get a higher job offer, but they're like, it might be too high status, so they take the smaller job offer. And with your wisdom, you could actually help those people. You could make a very serious impact by sharing, here were my experiences, how to thrive even after seeing family members lose it all. That topic is a hot topic. I could do that and like share it topically. You can share it from real world experience.
Never thought of
And
it.
so in the process of you chasing that impact, your income grows. That's just how it works. And most people that are chasing the money usually don't get it. You chase the impact, you can't turn off the money. You go seriously impact people, and I don't you go make a difference in someone's life. It's very hard to turn off the money. You go chase the money, that may or may not work, but you have some wisdom that could really help some people. And we just need it. I mean, schools are dumbing down. I mean, now I heard there are certain states I won't call out, but there are certain states now that have basically eliminated math scores to get your degree. Like we're in a dumbing down society, and so like we need wisdom. There needs to be more wisdom out there, and you definitely have it.
Oh, thank you.
How does that feel to have a renewed life of going out and just being focused on helping people, just giving them, sharing your experiences and going out there and helping people?
No, it feels good, and I want to do that. I didn't feel like I had that type of an impact. I guess I was afraid of what other people would think or
Of
say,
course.
and
Yes.
and especially with I left my job of 16 years to do network marketing, and being in the small town, they're like, oh, what's going to happen with this? And I have been successful. Um, but I just feel like everybody's waiting, and they're not waiting. They're not thinking of me. I'm the one
They're
doing
not.
the thinking. And
Yes.
I know that. But it's still, you get in your head, and
Yeah.
some people are in their heads too. And it's just trying to help awaken them to what's kind of going on in their life, just like what you're doing with
Or
me.
yeah, or not even them, other people, right?
True.
So, one thing that we're always clear on in our company is we're here to help those who desire improvement in finances and relationships. We're not here to help everybody. I can't, hey, you should want more out of life. I can't help that person. I can show you how to create success. I can't show you how to want to create success. That's not my job. My job is just simply to locate people who want to improve their finances and relationships. That's who we serve. And they are out there. Doesn't mean it's all the people around you, may or may not be. And I'm going to hit you with one last thing. This will sting a little bit, but you are setting the example for the kids, for the grandkids. You're setting the example, right? And so that to me is, I want to show my kids that I played as hard as I could, that I brought my all, that I pretended like this is the only life we got, that life is not a dress rehearsal. And if that means I go out in a blaze of glory, damn it, I'm going to do it my way. You ever hear that Sinatra song? I did it my way. Like that was a song that Damn it. That was a song that me and Hoverson would listen to, and one of my mentors who passed away. And damn it, I'm going to do it my way. And I want to be that example for my kids so that they see that I didn't cower because I had internet trolls, that I didn't cower because people made fun of me for losing it all in real estate, for leaving the corporate world, right? So I want them to see that I did it my way so that they do it their way, which may not be my way, right? I'm fine with that, but them do it their way because they saw me do it my way, and that's what's really important for me. And I think that with this awareness, I think you can see that you have a lot more to give and a lot more people to impact.
Thank you, Ray.
Helpful?
Very helpful.
Awesome. I can feel the energy, man. I can tell that you're excited to go after it.
I am. I needed this.
Awesome. Well, give Michelle a hand. Thank you, Michelle. Let's keeping. Are you in the 4 weeks? I assume you are.
I'm not yet, so I'll
Okay. But yeah, if you do get in there, then keep us updated. I want to hear your story. One of the things that we're getting better at. We historically have not been great at this, to be honest, but we have these kind of conversations and people go off and they, conquer the world or double their income or whatever. And we don't like keep updating the story. So we're trying to do a better job of staying with people and seeing how, what they go and do. And so, just keep me in the loop and let me know how things are going.
I appreciate it. Thank you again.
All right. You got it. Michelle, everyone, so powerful, such a great one. That's one, both of those. Jessica, with the worried about the scarcity. Michelle, more worried about what'll happen if I fail, right? Because those are similar things, but they're actually two very different things, right? And with those two issues, that's got to hit 80% of network marketers right there. And so I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, feel free to share. Your team may benefit from this. If you like this kind of coaching, then definitely check out our 4 weeks of group coaching that starts next week. That's at higdongroup.com/lifer. If you are already a RankMaker lifer, then we actually include you. We're just honored by you and want to respect you and love on you. But it does start next week. So you got a couple days left to grab it if you don't. And that's at higdongroup.com/lifer. And so appreciate you. Give Michelle some love. I see some of you already have. But Jessica and Michelle, thank you so much for showing up and being vulnerable. We appreciate and love you, and we're rooting for you. So see y'all soon.